got Damian Washington and we've got Tyler Campbell. All right. And both of them, did a program with us back in, when did we do this? We did this back in February, right? Mm-hmm. And we had this great time, and we wanted to do like a part two because we did not get to all the questions. So we have Damian was diagnosed with MS a few years ago and has grown his YouTube channel to about over 40,000 subscribers. All right. He's really good. He does a lot of work for MS Views and News. He's doing an entire series that we've been doing, MS Views Now. I interview clinicians, and Damian interviews all the MS, I would say, leaders. I mean, they're not all leaders, but, we can't get to all the leaders. Well, I would love to, but we are speaking with leading advocates that are doing a lot of different things for the MS community. And so he's doing those interviews. Like last month, we did one with Terry Walls. And for whoever hasn't seen that, you're going to hear about it later on. I know Tyler's going to say something about it. It was a great interview. It's on our YouTube channel. By the way, for anybody that doesn't know Tyler Campbell, he's an ambassador. He's an MS ambassador who was the first to play Division I college football with multiple sclerosis. And it's a tough division to be in, as is. And then playing with MS. I mean, if you follow football, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, maybe you should. All right.
It's all good.
And all right, right. But Tyler's also a professional speaker, and he specializes in delivering inspirational, recession-proof messages. He's pretty dynamite. All right. You'll hear a lot from him tonight. His voice has earned him his own FM radio show in Austin, Texas. Austin. You got to say that correctly. We don't say Austin. All right. We say Austin, Texas. And both these guys that are online tonight, all right, they both got these giant cowboy hats to wear, but I see that they're not wearing them.
Don't make me go get mine, Stuart. Don't make me go get mine.
That's right. And Damian had his really accessible already. He was doing it through. He went the other day, and he just picked up one from behind his desk somewhere and started wearing it. That was last month.
That's why you gotta be ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Right. Okay.
He texted me that earlier in the week, Stu, by the way.
What's that?
He texted me that same thing earlier in the week. Don't feel, you're getting it too.
Okay. No problem. All right. So let's get into what some of this was about. I mean, last month we spoke about intimacy. We spoke about COVID. We spoke about cognition. We spoke about socialization. And for anybody that's on this call tonight and you didn't get to hear it last month, well, we're going to redo a lot of it. All right. Of course, now we're a month later, so things have changed again. And we're also going to bring up some of the topics that we did not get to speak about. And so I want to start this off. Damian and Tyler have no clue what I'm about to ask them. I did not get them the scripts for this program ahead of time. So, they're both professionals, like I said, and they'll figure it out. So, Damian, I want to ask you first. With all this crap going on, I wonder why I'm asking you first, right? So with all the crap going on in the world right now, so much freaking stress for all of those that are stuck in their homes, that maybe their work, they got furloughed or something like that. Yeah. What do you do? I mean, you probably have a little bit more intel into this. I mean, can you tell people how you've been able to deal with this?
Oh man, that's so broad because there's so many ways to deal with so many different aspects of what is going on right now. That is a global pandemic. One thing that I lean on is routine, and I get up at a certain time, I exercise at a certain time. These things, and even if I miss it, then I'm like, oh, okay, this has to happen before the sun sets. And I take care of it. So the routine of it all helps keep me looking toward what I want instead of everything that's out here and going on that's garbage. So that the routine is a big thing that I lean on to help me through trying times. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. What about you, Tyler? How are you dealing with all this?
For me, it's still placing value on myself, right? Still noting that no matter what is taking place in the world, my life still has meaning. My life still has value. And within me, I still have the capability to give the world something that it does not have currently. And the reason I stand on that, the reason why we should all stand on that is because they're not making another you. There is only one you. So no matter what fires have taken place and are taking place currently, because we all have been affected. Damian and I have had our conversations about things that we've lost. It's a learning experience, but at the same time, it's the ability to, I think, to stay committed to yourself, stay committed to who you are as a man and as a woman, and knowing that you have something, that an organization, that your family, that a friendship, that your neighborhood, your community needs. You are an essential piece. And it's important to self-talk, because if you don't, you'll focus too much on the things that aren't going your favor. And it's imperative that you don't do those things. It's hard and it's easier said than done. We've all been there, but it's possible. And that's what we hang our hats on. Go ahead.
Okay. First off, my I don't know if you could even see me because my screen keeps shutting down entirely. I don't know why, but
we can,
anyway, I'm here.
That's
great. That's great. That's great. I could put up, you know what? I should have one of those cardboard things. I could put up a my video guy should put up a cardboard thing of me. All right. Just like you go to the games these days, you see all the seats filled with cardboard.
Yeah. You're a ridiculous guy.
All right. Well, we do what we got to do to make it work, right?
You do. What we have to do.
So, yeah, let me ask you, do you guys experience MS related or non-MS related? Either one of you. I mean, Damian, you go first, but tell me about mood swings or anger or irritability or short, sappy, any type of anxiety that you have that you want to share with the world?
I mean, yes, all of the above. Is there more fear in there? Is there direction into what's really going to happen next? Because even if everything was going to be going well as exactly as I had planned, there's still a global pandemic going on. So yes, I'm all of that. The fears, those sort of the concerns that are on people's minds. Absolutely. And, some absolutely they're on my mind as well. And I think, sometimes you are better than others at dealing with that and mitigating that within yourselves. But again, that's where I lean on routine, because after I sort of do a practice that I know is good for me and that I know will calm me down, I have to make sure that I do it in the moment when I'm anxious. And once you start to recognize that, and that is a moment where you will start to really grow, because you will be in touch with your practices more than you will be in touch with the anxieties.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you for that.
He come with that thunder, Stuart.
I'm out here.
Yeah, well, I need you to see how you're going to, keep things balanced here. And, it's your turn to answer that. And then I'm going to let everybody else know something else here. Right. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think fear and anxiety, yes, and then I'm going to lean on the side of mood swings, and I'm going to invite everybody into my marriage. I think a lot of that, my wife sees the best and the worst of me all the time, and that's important. It's for people to just see a real person, and sometimes upbeat Tyler Campbell can be as happy and as jubilant as possible, and then there are times when I can be down and out. There are times when I get sad. There are times when I get frustrated. I feel the same amount of emotions of being good 1 second and literally being like this the other. And my wife looking at me like, what's wrong? And she knows me after all those years, and she knows, that's that. She knows where that's coming from. She knows where that's coming from. And she also holds me accountable for it. And she's not fearful of it. But, for me, it's like I lean on that thing. I see MS in front of my face every day, but I also focus on seeing beyond it. And I always ask myself this question of what will be my legacy here on this earth? And I am a parent. I'm a husband. I have 3 children now. I was going through this same entity last week, and I made a post on this on social media. And my son literally told me, he said, "Daddy, a Campbell never quits. My
That's right.
7-year-old son. And so when you can't find that inspiration for yourself, you have to sometimes lean on friends, family, your inner circle, like we talked about. And for me, a 7-year-old boy holds his daddy with MS accountable in more ways than I can count. So I got to come giddy up, Stuart.
I think his granddaddy told him to say that to you too.
Hey, it's a saying we've always had. I'm the one who's told him that. And so
that's right.
Here he comes, your children paying attention to you,
Sure.
MS all, and they're putting it back on you. And it's another level of, yes, I'm held accountable by a 7-year-old.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That means you got to do a lot more just to make sure that he's given the right stones to walk on through life. All right. So you always got to be there for him, and you always got to make sure that you're going to be as even level or even minded or level headed as you can possibly be. Right.
Possible.
So I'm going to tell you about something to do with myself with that also. But first I want to let everybody know I'm afraid to touch my laptop right now. So I don't want to answer anything that you're writing to me, and I'm not going to. If you have a question to ask, type it in. I'm not going to sit there and say, now it's time for you to type in your questions. At the upper right of your toolbar, there's an orange button with an arrow, right? Click on that. If you have something to say or you have a question to ask, please do it there. I'm not typing anything. I'm not touching my keyboard, all right?
Don't do it.
All right, great. By the way, a friend of mine who also got MS, he brings his keyboard. He came to the studio yesterday where I was with a good internet connection, all right? And his laptop says that property of Nancy Pelosi. I thought it was really funny, all right? I mean, it wasn't true, but it was just something that he stuck on his laptop. And I said, you're crazy, man. I mean, you watch out for who sees that, right? All right. So anyway, I said about the question, said about that. You know, I too have, people know I have MS. I have my highs and lows, mainly all very high. All right. It's the vodka, maybe. No, it's not it. But you know, yeah, Damian. So we each have these issues, whether it be anxiety or fear, or it could be people that are just laugh too much and they cry, and you know, maybe they have pseudobulbar, you know, and that's, you know, another thing that can happen with people. It's called pseudobulbar effect. And if you have that, you really should speak to your doctor, right? Because there are medications for that. But, you know, I go through bouts of depression, and I don't know why, because life is good, all right? But I still get where I'm like, you know, when I live with pain, I live with a tremendous amount of pain. And there are times that the pain is so bad that I literally want to stand on a railroad track. All right. And then I get depressed because I don't want to die either. All right. I just want the train to hit me and I want it to go right through me. I want to play Casper. All right. And just let it be. But I can't let that happen. So I get down on me about the pain that I live with. All right. So I spoke with my doctor and he wants me to take Wellbutrin, or the generic version of it. All right. But I haven't opened up the bottle yet. I've had it now for a month and I haven't opened up the bottle yet.
Hey, yo, don't sleep on it. I'm going to tell you this right here, right now, because my neurologist has that as one of the options. And I, you know, kind of really never paid too much attention to it. But it's something that I brought into my life, and it's, you gradually introduce it over weeks, and the stronger the dosage. So you know, you're at 1 week, it's one dosage. The next week, it's a higher dosage. And personally, the energy, that the subtle sort of more wind in my sails that it gives, plus it's not so much things aren't going on around you. You just don't care as much.
Right.
but in the best way. Like, you're not as attached to it. You're not as, oh, this is my story and this is how I react to this sort of input. I'm going to have this reaction right now. And it's just another perpetuation of something that I probably shouldn't do. When you have that sort of thing running through you at various dosage, you see it, but you're like, eh. And you move on.
So you're saying to do it.
Oh, absolutely. No,
He's telling you to do it. He's telling you to do it.
Something
Well, we'll see about that. So,
I've been on
one
it
thing
and
though,
off it, but it's better on it.
so one thing though, yeah, right. So one thing though, I've been having really vivid, horrible dreams in the last month. Vivid, like so vivid that I can wake up and tell you the entire dream, and they're not good. All right, they're not good, and it's just ridiculous. And I don't know why, but this only started happening after I got my vaccine.
That's interesting too.
Yeah, isn't that interesting, right? So I didn't grow a third leg. I didn't grow a third leg, and I don't have a tail, but I got these crazy dreams happening lately.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I was told that Wellbutrin could also cause vivid dreams, and maybe I don't want to start that right now. Damian, sorry, you don't dream. I got it.
Yeah, that's not a great thing. Like, I would love a dream.
Dude, you make sure you're writing this down in a journal, man. Put all this down.
Yeah, well, I do. I definitely do.
Absolutely. Put that down in a journal.
All right. So anyway, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if I even want to get started on this.
Don't sleep.
Medication.
Just saying. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on it.
Don't sleep on it. I don't sleep. I'm probably not going to sleep for the next few days, because sleeping for me lately is waking up and you're just as tired as when you went to sleep. Because when you have these kinds of dreams all night, it's ridiculous. And what's bad is that I'll wake up from one in the middle of the night and I'll remember that dream in the morning. But in the meantime, I have another bad dream that follows that first bad dream.
Proverbially speaking. So yes,
crazy stuff.
See what you might want to add something else up in there to help.
I do. I'm gonna have to add more vodka. Yeah, I got to add more vodka. I got it.
As soon as I said it, I was like, he's gonna walk through the vodka door.
That's right. All right. So, I have a couple of people. Before we go on to the next stuff, we have a few people that are asking a few different things. And Robin is asking about the pseudobulbar. It's pseudobulbar. It's three different words. Pseudo, P-S-E-U-D-O, bulbar, B-U-L-B-A-R, affect or affect. One of the two. Either affect or affect, right? And so she spelled it out differently, but I'm just letting her know what it is, all right? And then Pam wants to know if, have you received your vaccine yet? And do you get to go out more because you've been vaccinated? So that's a big question. So a lot of people do ask that, right? And Tyler, you haven't had yours yet, right?
No, I have not. I have not had mine yet. No, sir.
Okay, these guys are too young. And Damian, you haven't had yours yet, right?
Working on it, but no.
Working on it, right. All right, and I did get to have mine, and I'm not over 65 yet, but I did get to have mine, and I had both of them, like I said, and I've got these vivid dreams going since then. Again, I have no clue if one thing has anything to do with the other. Just could be all coincidental. But the question is, if I get to go out a little bit more, I'm going out as much as I was going out, which is just probably a few steps above where I should not be going out, all right? I go back and forth from South Florida to Central Florida all the time to do these events, except for today. And now you know why I will be back in Central Florida again, all right, to do these events. But if I go out to dinner, I sit outside. If I go out for lunch, I sit outside. I don't go to restaurants that are indoors. So I'll find an outdoor eatery, and most of those outdoor places are where people are sitting far apart from each other. If I happen to show up at a location and it's not, they're sitting people like right on top of each other, I just say, no, I won't eat there. I'll go pick up some food and I'll bring it back. All right. It's not happening. So, even though we're vaccinated, I'll still wear a mask. I still wear a mask everywhere I go. All right. It's a need. I see people that don't wear masks on. I used to open up my mouth to them all the time. I don't anymore. Probably the guy with the gun told me, maybe I shouldn't ask, him to wear a mask. I'm joking, but I had to say it. All right. But seriously, everybody really should do their P's and Q's about this until we can get out of this. All right. It's too much risk involved. All these governors that are saying, oh, no more masks. Well, when your state explodes again in the worst nightmare that you had a few months ago, what are you going to do? Who are you going to blame on that? Right. All right. Mask up, guys. All right.
Good job.
So what's next?
Good job. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So what's next? We have exercise. What do you guys do for exercise? And why do you find, if you're doing it, which I'm sure at least one of you are, but what do you do for it? And do you do it in, your own home, your own yard, or do you go somewhere? Tell us about it. Damian, let's start with you again.
I was going to pass that to TC because I know he does more than me. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Come on, TC.
So it is, I think, and so for me, it's always been small victories, right? I am nowhere, I'm 34 now. So obviously I'm not nearly the 21-year-old weight person that I used to be. But at the same time, I do notice that that I need to take it easy on myself. The expectations of myself are literally just to be better on this day than I was the day before. That's kind of the way that I approach everything. And so for me, I'm still active. I still do everything in home. And that's kind of been my whole thing. I've never been a big gym guru guy. When I noticed that my body weight is something that I can work with each and every day, which is my push-ups, my sit-ups. I run with my babies wherever I can. I'm trying to be as active, but it's all about being consistent with whatever it is that you choose to do. It's about being consistent.
Precisely. And that's why I'm pointing here, because that's what it is. For me, I meditate and I do Qigong. And so like Tai Chi and Qigong are in the same family, but I just do Qigong instead. And sun goes up, sun come up. I have meditated and I've done Qigong. The sun is setting, I will meditate and do Qigong just to keep the practice of it all sort of out in front of me. And that's really the main thing with whatever you're doing. Like Tyler was saying, you must be consistent with it. And that's part of it all and part of the stress of it all anyway. So yes, I exercise. I do Qigong. And when my neurologist was speaking with me about my increased impairment because I slacked off my Qigong for many, many months, he was like, hey, man, you keep avoiding the physical stuff. You're really good at the supplements. You're really good at the meditation. You're really good at, all the stuff to make you feel better. You're slacking off on your physical stuff. Figure it out.
Do you feel worse when you don't do?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Do you feel worse when you don't do these things?
Yes. It's so subtle. And it's tough to really, once you realize that you're feeling kind of junky because you didn't meditate, because you didn't do Qigong, that's when the switch goes off. And that's when you're like, oh yeah, no, this is what I do every day. No matter what, because I know I won't feel so well if I don't.
And let me piggyback off of that. Here's the beautiful thing about being an MS patient. You are more in tune with your body, perhaps, than most people who don't have what we have, right? We've been forced to pay closer attention to our bodies, but this is like a superpower, because now you know if you're pushing it too much. Now you know if you're on this schedule like Damian is, and his body is now used to this thing and it doesn't get it. The body knows. Your body knows if you are consuming something that is going to add inflammation upstairs because of how your body has been talking to you, and we've had to pay attention where most people haven't. So don't look at it so much as a disadvantage when you're doing your exercise. Look at it as that gentle reminder, and you have your very own alarm clock, guys, with MS. And there's something to be said. So look, there's something to be said about taking a walk to the driveway and being able to come back. Okay. There's something to be said about walking around in your backyard because you can. So don't compare what you got going with what me and Damian have. You walk your walk and you do what you do, because your body, that walk to the backyard, that walk to the driveway may be all you need, and it may be further than what you were able to do 2 weeks ago. So small minute. Go ahead.
There have been a lot of people that have said to me that, I've been stuck in my home for almost a year now. And I say, do you have a backyard? And they say, I have a backyard. I said, do you go out in it? They tell me no. I said, why not? Well, because COVID's in the air. No, it's not. No, it's not in the air. All right. It's in the air if you're within spitting distance of somebody. All right. But not like that. All right. So, if you have a backyard, if you have a front yard, then get out and do it. If you have a dog, take the dog for a walk. If you have the cat, put a leash on the cat and take the cat for a walk, all right? And then, then the cat will dance around and say, I'm a cool cat. All right. So
use what you have. Use what you have.
Consistency is the most
do what you
important
have,
thing.
all right?
Consistency.
Yeah, if you're in a scooter and you feel that you really can't get around anywhere, you could still take a ride around your neighborhood. All right. You can get out. If you're using a walker, you can get out and just go out in the street, wear a mask. All right. Go out on the sidewalk. If there's nobody around, but just do it. Get out there and do things like these guys are telling you. You got to do something. It'll make you feel better to do something. And, I do walk a little bit. It's hard because of the brace on my left leg and whatever. But, I try to push myself wherever I can, and I'll take steps if I can take steps. If there's steps and I see them, I won't do the elevator. I'll take the steps. All right. And backwards and forwards or whatever it is. Anyway, I'll try to do whatever I can. But, a lot of my activity obviously is in doing all these programs. I mean, I keep busy doing this all the time. It's not an easy thing to keep all this put together. Yeah. So, we find our own ways of doing it. But going another step, and this, Damian, probably has a lot to do with you and the business that you're in, all right? But so people can't get out and go to the movies anymore. What do you suggest for them to do?
Let's go.
As far as entertainment? Oh, man, I can't call that, man, because I have all the Netflixes and the things. And
right.
Like, that's pretty much it. Like, there's the public and me have not really been happening for this past year. So I'm living within my constraints. And sorry you can't go to the movies, but you can rent some Netflix. Like, you know what you want to do. That's the thing. Like, everything is personal. And it's like, deep down inside. And like, if you kind of don't want to do it, that means that's the thing you should do. It's all different for me. It's different for Tyler. It's different for Stuart. But if you don't want to do it, that's the thing you probably need to do.
Hey, I love it. Hey, in my house, too, you remember in Living Color? You can do what you want to do. In Living Color, which was improv, right? Or stuff like that, and skits. So we do skits in our own home. I mean, you guys should have our own channel for what we do. But it's whatever that you can do that builds and creates communication. And also it shows me now that I understand that relationships are like the heartbeat of who we are as human beings, right? So I can't wait for that time when we get up and out, because I'm going to do things differently. So in the midst of not being able to go to the movies, not being able to go and be out and sociable, I also hold on to the fact that when those opportunities do come, Stu, I'm going to savor them and I'm going to capitalize on them. I'm going to say hello like I didn't, and think of all those scenarios that are going to be created when those barriers do come down, when we are able to get a hold of, we do get our vaccines.
Sure.
So not having it, I also look to the standpoint of when we do have those things, how I'm going to do better with it and not take things for granted with my freedoms like I did before this pandemic era, and that's what we talk about as kids. No more of this, nothing to say, don't want to talk, don't want to say hello to somebody walking down the street. No more of that. Because we went through a year without being able to do that. We ain't doing that.
Thank you for that. Hey, I want to get back to the audience for a second. There's a lot of you online, and I'm sure you might have some questions that you know of yourself that or that you have for yourself, or that you have for somebody maybe that you know with MS, or just general social questions. If you want to type out something and send it to me, just send it. All right. And don't worry about your name being called. All right. There's a lot of Charlene's in this world. There are a lot of Cindy's in this world. There's not a lot of Aloysius. So if your name is Aloysius and you don't want me saying your name, then I won't say it. All right. But for everybody else, if I say your first name, so be it. And, let's just get it going here. Somebody's asking me what the thing is that you do, Damian. Qigong or whatever it is. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Qigong.
Qigong. There you go.
It's QI space GONG. Qigong.
Okay, great. What is it?
So it's like Tai Chi where you.
I do Qigong, but what is it?
So it's like Tai Chi, where you're breathing and you're moving, and the mindful motion match with your breath and your consistent dedication helps the energy move around in your body. Qi is Chinese for energy. It's energy. And Gong is moving. So you are literally moving your energy. That's what it is.
Right.
And so these slow, flowy movements and the breathing, you're helping your energy move inside of you. And so you don't have to go out and bench press, do all the stuff to get effects of exercise. That's why I move my energy.
Good. That's good.
So we should get you to do a video of your therapy in the mornings. And then you put that out there look at you. And then you get that, you can get people to do that with you. All right.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I say because what makes me is that I love routine. I love having something that I can do from memory. And like, if I ever default and I'm starting to make excuses, it's like, no, just stand up and do it. You know it by heart. So the next thing that I'm on, I like to push it, and not even push it, but just expand. So I moved on from the thing that I know, and now I'm doing some new things, and I'm not really good at it, and I'm getting better every day. But it's that's the thing that I'm doing now. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that.
We definitely got to explore that a little bit more. And I want to let everybody know, while we're talking about the movement therapies, we're doing a program on March 20th, which is a Saturday. It's a luncheon program. We're doing that on Pilates, okay, which is also, it's movement. It's doing things to better yourselves, and it'll give you something to do. So if you want to go onto that Pilates program, I have never done it. I've never seen it, but I also, obviously, I'm going to see it that day. And who knows, maybe it'll do something for me too. I've got to do something other than lift my.
Tell them it's not easy, Stu. I'm here to tell you, it is not easy. It's your core, and so I know, and I say that for a lot of men who may be listening, because you hear that thing Pilates and you're thinking, oh, that may be something for women, and that's not me. It all stems on the pushing and pulling from your core. All of those movements are from your core. So it is a workout, and I say that for the men who are listening, and they're just like, nah, not for me. It is definitely. Mm-hmm. Well,
speaking about another thing that gets certain football players, they do ballet, they do yoga. All right, right, and it just helps them move better, and maybe it keeps them a little bit more limber than even their general exercise does. So there we go with that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. Tell me about how COVID has affected you and your family. I know I spoke about being bottled up in your home, but and we spoke about some of the employment stuff. But what else has COVID done for you? What have you done to change your life to deal with COVID daily?
Oh,
who wants to go first?
D, I'll go ahead. I tell everybody I got babies. So I've got children. So with short attention spans, and
you got a new baby. You got a flat baby.
I've got a new one. So it has been, it's pushed you as a parent to be as creative as you possibly can, right? And I think for us, it's been a chance for me to actually get back into the role of being a kid again, to take joy and to take pleasure in doing the little things. Stu, there's something to be said about climbing trees. Kids don't climb trees no more. I had to teach my son how to climb a tree.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's been added levels of things to be reintroduced that weren't necessarily the iPad or technology driven. And I think we broke out the Uno cards. You know what I'm saying? We introduced little man to dominoes. My kids, all these other things. Monopoly is still a hit.
That's right.
So it's really caused us to eliminate the noise. And for me as a father to try to lead my family, I've had to become more creative and thrust into the family what matters the most. Talking finances a lot more in front of my children. because our finances got affected. Having to just really discuss what's really important, discuss our relationships with other people, how to be cognizant that other people's lives are changing simultaneously. So it's like, man, there's one sport we're putting together, taking a trip back in time and doing things with board games, all this other stuff. But also, I find myself having like real grown up conversations with my children because the world is spinning in a different way. And I've got to kind of get them prepared for that and not sugarcoating anything, because
it's true.
We've lost family members from COVID. We have, as many of us listening in. So it is forced us to not sugarcoat anything with our children because their safety is at hand. And then it's caused our discussions about MS to be deeper, right? Because it's like, you don't want to hide what you have from your children because they got to understand why they're not necessarily going to school right now. And it's because, daddy has autoimmune. So we're going to be safe. And also mommy is just giving birth. So we kind of have to be more careful than others. And so it's been having to be creative as much as possible. Hide and go seek in the house. I get to be a kid again, Stu. I'm tearing up walls in my house. My wife is on me. You hear me? But you do what you got to do for your baby.
You got to get a big box and play tent with a big box in the middle of the living room. All right. You got to hide in the box and then you make it so that way your kids don't know where you are. Or just one day hide in the box and have your kid running around. Where's daddy? Where's daddy? And then you jump out right in front of them.
I like it, Stu. Hey, I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, but a lot more like ready for the world conversations, like real life, non-sugar-coated conversations, because we can't, because our babies are seeing the same world that we're seeing right now.
Right. Yeah. So before I let Damian go to answer that, I want to just let you know there are a few people that are writing. Cindy, there's that name again, right? You're all making you're making unbelievably great learning points. So thank you for that, Cindy. Carolyn wants to know if she can catch on YouTube your Qigong, whatever it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you just look it up on YouTube and you'll find it.
I'm glad you brought this up because this is good for them.
There's a couple of ones I follow. I really don't remember the names at this point. And that's not so sweet, unfortunately. What speaks to me is not going to speak to you necessarily. And I think that's really the thing. I have a minor from Middlebury College in Eastern Asian religions. So I am in an entirely different universe and having an entirely different set of knowledge and mindset around this sort of a thing. So what's available to me it's going to be different, me taking it in. So it might not be so good for you, but the only way to find out is just search Qigong on YouTube. And if you don't like one video, then you go to another video. And if you don't like that video, then you go to another one. You will find something that speaks to you and that you would like to do. And you're like, oh, I can do this. That's your video.
There you go.
Amy, let me ask you, how do you compare that exercise with yoga?
Yoga, you get on the mat and things are more horizontal and such. And Qigong, you're standing and pretty much, you're not really moving outside of where you're horse stance. Like if you're going to be on a horse, you're not really going to be leaving much more of that footprint than you being on horse stance. And so that's kind of how that's why I prefer Qigong than yoga. That's just me.
So you did make mention that it's similar to Tai Chi, yes?
Yes, they are in the same vein. And I saw a video that I could click to learn the difference, but I didn't do that. And I wish I would have right now.
Okay. It's okay. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm hoping that whoever's asking these questions about that form of exercise, that they'll, have the interest to look it up and maybe try it, especially because it's not like lifting weights. It's not what Tyler's doing, like getting on the floor and doing push-ups. and lifting weights. It's just a very, fluent form of therapy.
Just show up for yourself. Doesn't matter if you have to do it at the same time or it's all regimented. Like, bro, is it today? Did you do the thing today? No.
Right.
Well, then do it.
Right.
Oh, you don't want to do it now? Okay. Figure out a time when you might want it, like that. Sort of, that is what really is the thing, more so than the modality.
Love it, D. Love it.
Okay.
Great,
so
brother.
Thank you for those answers, guys. There's a woman named Coy who is, and that's a very odd name, or maybe I shouldn't have said it, right?
Oh,
it's definitely different.
I got a friend named Coy. I like that.
It's different, yeah.
I like that.
So Coy would like to know, she would like to show support for her MS family. She wants to know how she could get Tyler's radio show in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh man! Hey, first off, shout out to the Gamecocks. My brother.
Okay, that's right. Shout out to Columbia, South Carolina. Shout out to the Gamecocks.
Hey, my brother ran track at USC, South Carolina. So all you have to do, I'll get out of the way, Stuart. All you have to do, I'm every Saturday, your time, which is East Coast time. So I'm every Saturday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And just download an app on your phone called The Horn Radio. You can listen to it on there every Saturday from 1 to 2, and I am there. Have the #1 show on the station on Saturdays. Right. So you're there. Great. That's a short answer for you, Stu.
All right. Well, that's a good one, because Coy also has a question for Damian. And does Damian have any material recorded and available to share with the public? We have lots of it. All over YouTube. YouTube.com/NoStressMS is my own personal jam. And often I do videos with MS Views and News. That's why I'm here. But my main jam is YouTube.com/NoStressMS.
Love it, guys.
Great. Now, Renee is asking, do any of you stretch routine do you have a stretch routine that you follow? That's what she's asking.
So Damian, I know you got it more than me. I want to tell people this. This is what I didn't recognize. There's an important stretch routine, obviously, before working out. What I also had to learn is when you're getting ready to go to bed, your body is getting ready to get involved in a 6 to 7 hour stint of doing something, which is sleeping. So a gentleman put it to me like this. He said, Tyler, you stretch to work out. Why wouldn't you stretch before you go to sleep? And one thing that worked wonders for me is there are tons of things that you Google. And there's 10 stretches that I do. And I found it online. There's sleep stretch exercises, and which help loosen my body up, my tight gripped MS body, which is limited in my flexibility, which I constantly try to work on. But there are stretches, not only aerobic before we do aerobic activity, but I do stretches before I go to sleep, because my brain is always going, and I have to find a way to calm it down, to get it ready, to get my body ready. So I do 10 stretches before sleeping, which I found online. You can Google sleep stretches, you'll find it. And then it's interesting. I do a lot more leg stretching versus upper body, because I have so much tightness in my hamstrings for whatever reason to this day. But I can't work out without stretching first. That's just me, D.
That's good. So, hey, I got a question for you about that that stretching before going to sleep. Do you find that first off, I don't know, maybe you never had it. Did you ever get spasticity when you're sleeping in your legs?
No, I never did. I never did, Stu.
Well, I can imagine that for those that do. Damian, do you?
No.
Okay. Well, guess what, guys? I do. I do get spasticity. It's horrible. I mean, if I could be in a hotel room and I could jump up in the middle of the night with this, screaming my head off, because there's no way. And I get claw feet from it, and I literally have to step on my foot to get it to release. Okay. And the pain is just like incredible. But I could imagine doing this stretching before going to sleep. And I'm definitely going to look into that. And Tyler, I'll hit you up for some of that later on. But maybe you give me some tips on what kind of stretching to do for that. All right.
I certainly will. Yes, sir.
All right, great. So somebody just wrote, does that help with your sleep to stretch beforehand? So I guess it does. Yes.
Yeah, I used to have a lot. I used to have a lot of sleep problems. Like I couldn't get myself to calm down and get ready. And Damian knows this with his Tai Chi or not Tai Chi. Say it again.
Qigong.
Gone.
You got the Gong Yo Chi, baby.
I'm sure there is a soothing of the mind. I'm sure there is a form of relaxation that comes post. And that's the same thing that comes from the stretching exercises and the breathing, because I literally had to slow my mind and my body down to prepare it for sleep, because otherwise I'm just sitting there looking at the ceiling and my brain is just going.
All right. So next thing that we have to hit on, because we didn't really hit on this the last time, and that's socializing with people.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing these days? Are you doing Zoom? You're doing team meetings? You're doing go-to meetings? You're doing team, whatever it is. There's so many different platforms to use. How do you keep in touch with your family? Are you keeping in touch with your family? Are you keeping in touch with your friends? I mean, what are you doing these days? Damian, you're up first.
Go ahead, D.
No, this situation has caused me to not really be thinking about folk who are not outside of my house.
Mm-hmm.
But when it does come to that, Zooms. I just Zoom with my friends. And as a matter of fact, in an hour and a half, I have a Zoom with a group of friends that we meet once a month. So I'm doing that. That's generally my thing. Zooms, either personal one-on-one or meeting in a group. That's all you can do.
That's good. Do you put up that background in Zoom to show that you're like at the San Francisco Bridge or something?
This is my wall, Stuart. I didn't put up anything. This is my wall. There's going to be a color here too.
We're tired of looking at Los Angeles. You know, it's a big city. You got to go to another town there. Okay. Try living with go from what are we in? We're in March. It's you got to get some spring flowers going there, right?
Get it going, man. Get it going.
Okay, listen to this guy.
Joke. That's awesome.
What joke? What joke? About Los Angeles?
Good. That's good. Yeah, that was good.
Oh, that was good.
All right, thank you. All right, so tell us how you deal with fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go first on that?
Being honest with myself. I have to be honest.
I wish I could hug you through the computer, Tyler Campbell.
I have to be honest with myself that our bodies talk, and I'm somebody who is a big people pleaser. And so, if I don't watch myself, I have a tendency to overpromise and underdeliver. Does that make sense? So for me, I have to be open and I have to be calculated. I have to get comfortable with saying no. And that is a constant struggle of mine, because it goes against my overall giving and wanting to help and wanting to be there. And I want to support you. Yes, I'll do this for you. And in all honesty, Tyler selfishly has to kind of make some decisions for Tyler. And I'm all about selflessness, and y'all know this, but when it comes to MS, I want to tell people it is okay to be selfish, because you only have 2 arms, 2 legs. You can't stretch yourself too thin, because you bring on a whole host of problems for yourself. And that's what we want to eliminate. And so my advice goes against the grain, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's okay to say no.
That's right. That's right.
It's okay.
And Tyler, and Damian, what about you?
Now, you're going to have to repeat it now, because I'll tell you, I got caught up in TC's thing. Like,
well, then before I repeat it, let me just say something. Maybe you'll pick it up from there. The word fatigue for me doesn't exist in my dictionary. All right. I may find ways that I know that I'm running, my barrels are running empty that day or whatever it is, but I'll just take a short break. For me, if I need a power nap, my power naps don't last more than 12 minutes. All right. And that's it. I mean, I sleep 3-4 hours a night when I'm able to sleep 3-4 hours a night. and my power nap is 12 minutes. And I just never allowed myself to give in to that. So, you know, that's me. I mean, there are other people that I know that do try to do the same thing. And sometimes it works for people and sometimes it doesn't. But, you know, you know, I've said this many times. I've tried to not ever let MS be in my life, and I've made MS live my life with me. And so therefore fatigue, if it's to be part of MS, well, it can't exist in my life. So,
that's good.
So yeah. So I just pedal forward. All right, Damian, you know where we are now?
Well, yeah, no, I'm like the complete opposite. But no, I said that to be funny, and I say that in that way to be funny. But I have pushed past these limits so far and have not liked the results afterwards. And in a lot of ways, I liken it to you're driving a car and sort of like the check engine light comes on, or the last tick of gas tank goes off, and you can either go, I wonder how long I can drive on this tank of gas, or you can go, I'm going to go to that gas station right there. And that's why I say complete opposite, because I'm living in the world of like, my knees are feeling not so good, I'm going to sit down. Or like, even if there is because I'm such a goal-oriented person, let me go get that. That helps power me through my symptoms as I'm going. And my wife is like, hey, why don't you sit down, man? And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, okay, let me sit down. I just respect it and give it its space so it doesn't take up as much space as it would if I don't respect it.
And there's a conscious balance to it. And you get used to teetering that line and knowing after time. I think we're in the same boat. Stu, my wife tell me, you better sit down. And I know it's getting bad when as a speaker, I start sounding like Mushmouth from Fat Albert, starts hubba.
So here I am driving yesterday, and you know, I start getting a little spasm in my leg. And it's doesn't mean pull over for me. I put it on cruise control so I can flex my leg and still be driving along. All right.
I got
right. So that's it. Find ways to deal with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, find ways to deal with it. There's no sort of one thing. There's no one diet. There's no one pill. And what happens, why we can so confidently say that this is what works for us, is because we have crashed into the wall of what doesn't work for us repeatedly over time. So also be comfortable with things not working out, things not being, this worked for Cheryl, so now I'm going to do it. And it don't really work for you because you ain't Cheryl. So, you will find something that works for you. Just keep that in mind and know that that's true.
Okay. All right, cool. So before I get to our last topic, all right, I just wanted, there's a lot of kudos coming in again for the two of you. All right. And, you know, great point. One person saying about Tyler, another person, right on Tyler. Yeah, another one. And Damian, way to go, Damian. I love the way you talk. I love the way you move your arms around. You know, whatever. And then, hey, Stuart, I let my friend, Stuart, I and my friend that also take baclofen for spasticity. They do help us, and I'm going to add you to my prayers from now on. I cannot imagine living in this world of MS without our beloved Stuart. Well, thank you for that.
Oh,
thank you.
That's a cherry on top right there. Let's go. Look at this.
Wait, I gotta send flowers to this person.
Hey.
Well, thank you for that. All right, and another one's writing. Can I call Damian Guru Damian?
Yeah, Guru Damian.
I mean, you can do what you like. Be your own guru. That's what I got to say. Let the church say amen.
That's great.
Amen.
I have a really important topic to bring up here. There's a lot of women on here tonight. I did say that we're going to be finished now by like 8:45. All right. So because we did get a late start, so I'm pushing it to 8:45. And this topic has to do with intimacy and sexual dysfunction to a degree. We can't speak obviously as the medical personnel that are out there, but we MSViews and News did a program last night on urology. We did it on bladder issues and everything that's associated with the urologic dysfunction and multiple sclerosis. And a few questions had come up from men and women about sexual dysfunction. And the urologist spoke with me after the program, and we're going to do a program in about 2 months from now on sexual dysfunction, and he'll be back to talk about that. So you guys, I was talking with you about this before the show began, all right, before this program began. And Tyler, you said a lot about it. I mean, I don't have to ask questions about intimacy. What we were talking about, if we could bring that back up again, it'll probably answer everything that I wanted to talk about tonight. So can you remember what we were talking about? I don't want to ask Damian because I know where that's going.
Right? No, you got that one. I give that one. Right, I earned that tonight.
Stu, man, it's interesting, like because it's still a very big conversation in my household. I've battled the dysfunction issue since I was 21. MS came into my life. It is I had to come to the understanding that with my dysfunction, I could not go at it alone, whether it be somebody who I was having a relationship with, or it being a therapist or a counselor or somebody to speak openly about what I'm going through. I went a long time with keeping everything bottled up inside. And we all know how much stress plays a role into what we're dealing with. So you throw this dysfunction monster into everything else with MS, and it was just too much. But I think some of the greatest things that have happened to me happened once I started dialoguing about my dysfunction. And I think as a male, that's always the elephant in the room because we are very prideful individuals. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, fellas. I think we are oftentimes more emotional than women can be in certain levels. I said it.
Put it out there.
I put it out there. And so the day that I started speaking openly about my dysfunction with somebody was the day I started becoming more aware of answers for myself. And it launched me into a world of communication and understanding that I'm not the only one, especially the only one with MS, with dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? We have we have a tendency to think, oh, it's just me. And it's not just us. But I will say this, I'm married. I have 3 children, sexual dysfunction in all. I tell people all the time, just be open to doing things that are not in your comfort zone when battling a level of dysfunction. My wife and I have to do things to keep our bedroom sacred, to keep it ours, to keep it innovative, to be open to different things, because this is something that I battle still to this day. And this is 13 years into this, Stu. I'm still here with my dysfunction, but I just want to let people know that it's possible. I met the woman of my dreams with my dysfunction, and I'm a proud father with my dysfunction. And the one thing you don't ever want to do is stop learning as you're battling this dysfunction, because watch this, the more you know about it, the greater depth that you have conversations with to either a spouse or a possible boyfriend or anybody, when you show them how entrusted you are with learning as much about your dysfunction as possible. Because in doing so, you're letting people know that you're on the hunt for this thing. You're constantly working at it. And then you want them to be invited into your world of intimacy, which is far deeper in connection. It's the intimate aspect of the sexual encounter that truly blows everything open. It's a level of intimacy. It's the talking. It's all the stuff that takes place even before the physical that creates an intimate environment. So there are different ways to handle this monster, but you have to know yourself first. And then as you know yourself, you introduce those things with your partner, and that allows it to be different, and allows it to be creative and fun. We have a lot of fun, y'all.
Okay, so thank you for that, Tyler. That was probably a lot more than anybody ever thought that you were going to come out with, but that was pretty awesome.
You got to do it differently than the last call.
Okay.
I understand it. I'm going to let Damian go, and then I got a 4-letter word for all of this. I got a 4-letter word for all of this. There you go. First, Damian, you're up.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So,
But you got to have a 4-letter word for it. And there's a woman that wrote in a comment here, and I'm gonna read that to you after Damian goes. But go ahead, Damian.
look, I think this is something that what TC was talking about. You and your partner really kind of got to see what's working, what's not working, and again, it's another thing. My neurologist was like, "Hey, this is available to you," and he said that all the time. And one time he said, "This is what's available to you," and I'm like, "How about I try something that might help me out with all of this?" And I fill the prescription and sort of go to the prescription, and I'm like, okay, hey, pharmacist. He was a younger gentleman. He's about 27 max. And I was like, all right. So I paid for it, and I was like, oh, so does this work, bro? The way the man looked at me, he was like, and then went back to his work. Just sort of helps you get over yourself. And that's why I even tell that story, because most of the trepidation that comes behind any of these things, talking to our doctor, being intimate with our partner, they come from us being in front of us with that fear. And so once you learn to put that to the side and walk through the fear, that's when you will start to expand. So that's what that's what I would say about that. But talk to your urologist or your neurologist about options that are available, and take them and see which ones work for you, and then use that. Run through the tape.
You can try that. You can definitely try that.
Don't get frustrated. It's the same thing like we talked about with exercising. Find the avenue that is best for you, and if the first 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't work, just stay at it and keep searching, because if you seek it, you'll find. Go ahead, Stu.
Great. The 4-letter word is wand. W-A-N-D.
Yo.
I'm picking up what you putting down, Stu.
Bro, right? Come on now.
What you putting down, Stu?
Boy, Tyler is blushing. Tyler is blushing over there. All of a sudden, his forehead just lit up. He is blushing.
Hey, look like you blushing.
There you go.
Come on now.
I got that.
I'm not blushing.
Coming to America 2 came out. I got that soul glow dripping down my face.
Whatever red you see on me right now is reflecting off of Tyler's shirt, all right? That red is coming at me.
Yo, dude, he keeps coming at you. See, he's like, bang, bang. You don't stop, son. That's the champ. Get him, champ. Get him, champ.
So, listen, there's a lot of guys out there that have zero feeling in like what Aaron Boster would call the down unders, all right? Aaron Boster is a big MS doctor, neurologist. A lot of you that are on here know about him already. So Aaron Boster and I are very close friends. But I love the way he talks about the down unders, all right? And whether you're female or male, a lot of the sexual dysfunction is that you just can't feel enough of anything. And so, therefore, you're not getting the sensation that needs to take you to climax. All right. And so if you don't feel it there, then what do? Well, I know for me, from my partner, as long as I can get the other person to feel as best as she can, then that's what makes me feel great. All right. And that's well worth it. And I've spoken to a lot of guys about this that have similar issues. And they all feel the same way, if they can make their wives feel like the queens of that night in their bed, then that's great. And it does make them feel good too. And as long as we can live without the frustration, which I don't get frustrated. I did once upon a time, but that's well gone, all right. So again, I don't feel that frustration anymore, because I know what to expect. It's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, as long as the other one is quite satisfied with it, with even herself, then that's great. That's just great. So
love it, Stu. That's good, Stu. That was great. That was good for me, Stu. Thank you. That was good.
So listen, there's somebody asking me what the wand is, Now I got to get really descriptive, don't I?
You did this. You did this.
I'm not even touching this, Stu, because I mess around and say something, get me kicked off of this.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, hang on one second. Hang on one second. The wand could be this big, or the wand could be this big, all right? And it's usually got this head at one end that's usually like a soft rubber, right? And it goes very hard, and okay? And it vibrates, all right? And it's, ladies, I mean, if you don't know of it, go to the Adam and Eve store and check it out, all right?
They know it works. It's just like the pills that the dudes get. It's like, it works.
That's right. It'll work. So for the person that asked what the wand stands for, you need to go to that Adam and Eve store, all right, and check it out, all right?
And Stuart, that's why it's important for the men who are listening to be open. And that's why what you just said is so powerful, because there's some things that male ego, that machismo, there's some things on this journey that will cause you to let those things go. But I think what you came back and said is, once you get past those things, once you move yourself out of the way, there's some real feelings and some real emotions that come from intimacy that you've never felt before, because we've been blocking our own blessings through pride.
Right.
So I'm thankful you said what you said.
That's just the guys, though. But there are plenty of women out there that have the same problem. I'll say it just as clean as I can, but the JJs, all right, are just not fully functional. But the same thing goes if you find the toys. Tyler spoke about earlier about having different toys. Yeah, it's needed. I mean, you and your partner have to open up to it. All right, you have to both be willing to try these things. All right, and if you can both try it, you'll have fun with it. And that's all I can say really about it.
Yeah.
So this is something. This is an ideal more so. It doesn't really. It applies to this conversation. It's just a broad mindset. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. That is something that I keep in the front of my mind, especially when I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that, or I have to behave differently, and that doesn't feel right to me in this moment. But if I go into that thing that I don't want to do, or that thing I'm scared of, I'm scared to talk about how I need a thing with my partner now. I'm ashamed to talk about that. Like, whatever you don't want to do is your way through. And it's tough to keep that in mind when it's in your way. But here are three people out here being like, hey, I know it's rough, but if you're afraid or whatever, yeah, you need to run headfirst into that, and then see how you specifically, once you run into that fear, how you do. I can't tell you how you will do because I'm not you.
Right.
But you need to run into the fear.
And I'll say this, Stu, and you go. I'll say this. Let me say this, Stu. For the ladies who are listening, there are many, many ways to win that man's heart through intimacy in other facets. And as a man, and there are so many different, because that man is in awe of the woman that he sees. So the fact that you will take that time to make him still continue to feel like that king or that person, that one true man in your life, all those other things will go by the wayside. And for every woman who's here, just don't forget that you have the keys, and you are that woman. You are that lady of that person that he envisions, that he loves. And so the more that you walk in that, and that you don't lose confidence in that for you as a woman, that will be enough to bring that man to that climax that you're looking for. And it may look differently for him, but the feeling will still remain the same based off of how you make him feel prior to any of that stuff. So walk in confidence as a woman, again, with what you have, even before those sexual encountering moments. Just walk in that.
So one person wrote that she's like stunned that three guys can be sitting here having this conversation. And another, that's because we're on camera and we really don't see you, all right? So it's easy for us to do this. All right. So anyway, another person is writing that, let's see, there's a lot of, she wants to know how she can give support to a friend of hers, that what would you guys say to him to encourage him, letting down the walls of his problems with intimacy, I guess. I think we've been saying it all night here, though.
I think so. Play this message back to him. I think there's something to be said as a man.
Right.
Here you have men from different age groups and different ethnicities talking about it. So you're getting different worlds, and then it comes from a male perspective. So I think anytime that you can find someone via YouTube or use this one as your launch, anytime that you can find somebody who states the problem, the elephant in the room about dysfunction, we talk about it. It's there. But then you want to find them something that offers the solution, the hope, because that's the whole thing. Hope creates determination. Determination leads to a positive attitude. And with a positive attitude, there's no limit to your altitude. So you want to find someone who addresses the elephant in the room and then talks about the problem, massages the problem, but offers the solution. And so as you're trying to find videos for that person, look for those things. Address the problem, but also offer solution.
I haven't been called an elephant in a long time. I'm really sorry to hear that. No, I'm joking. But I got to ask you a question. You said there's different ethnicities. Where are there different ethnicities? You called me
that's right, brother, because we are all brothers from a different. That's my man, Stu. And I forgot. Because Stu's just a light-skinned brother, so you're right about that.
That's right.
A little bit more biased.
My ancestors lived in the desert, all right? I can't help what happened after that.
That's right.
Okay. So last, so somebody's asking when this intimacy program is going to be happening. First off, I didn't say intimacy program, but we could do that if you want. All right. I just don't know if we can do it in a sitting position, though. All right. But I'm joking again. But I did say that we're going to do something on sexual dysfunction.
Yeah.
Sexual dysfunction. All right. And I'm sure it'll include intimacy as we do that. And when it's going to be happening, I don't have an exact date yet. All right. I just spoke with the urologist last night after we did our program. We are going to be looking at the calendars for maybe a May or a June date. All right. And you get my email. Okay. I know you get my emails. You're here tonight. So you'll either get the email or you'll see it on social media. Okay. And you'll know about that program when it's happening. And, I want to take it a step further, though. Maybe I could get Damian and Tyler onto that program also. So that way we could talk, the three of us, could talk to the urologist from our perspectives. Yeah. Maybe we could get a woman on there too.
I was going to ask you to get a lady on. That'd be great.
If we can get a lady on there too, and maybe we can, make this thing balance out and to a degree. And I'll just play moderator, and I'll get the doctor and you guys and maybe a woman or two on here. I have to see how many we can get on here at the same time. All right, but it can be worked out. All right.
Yes.
But We're way past our time right now of even being on here.
Oh.
All right. And I do want to thank everybody for having waited to get on here. I know we had the problems earlier. All right. And we're not going to have these problems again because I'm not going to be remote when I do these things. All right. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank, of course, my guests tonight, Tyler and Damian. Yeah, and Damian and Tyler, you guys are awesome. Yes, you are my brothers. Okay, from different mothers, obviously, and we're just going to have fun. We're going to do more of these programs going forward. Again, yes, a lot of people saying thank you, and my kisses and thanks to all of them as well. And I hope you tune in. Visit the MSU's News website to see our upcoming programs, and have a great night, everybody. And I hope Bill is there to end this program right now. So thank you, guys.
Peace, love, and joy.